Hey everyone, and welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings in Pikeville. It's the home of the Kelly Wells Show every week at this time, as we'll talk U-Pike basketball for the next half hour. The Bears currently riding a 7-game win streak and ranked 10th in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, your coach, our coach, Kelly Wells.
Hey,
got
Andrew.
a smile on your face.
We are. We're very happy and thankful to be home for a few days.
Sure.
It's short-lived, but we'll tackle this road stretch here and we'll keep going. I'm very proud of the first weekend of this long road trip, and came back healthy with 2 wins, and the guys are in a great place mentally and physically.
You had to look at the schedule when it was released way back when and say, boy, early January is going to be tough. You're off to a great start.
Yeah, a little bit of a conspiracy theory, I think, a little bit going through our head. But we knew if we can, manage through this stretch, it'll only make us better.
Sure.
It helps us towards the end of the season to finish more at home. It's just kind of the schedule's fallen very strange this year. I don't really have an explanation for it, but we got the games, and now we've got to take care of them.
Going to, of course, Lindsey Wilson and Cumberland U, it's one of the toughest trips in the Mid-South Conference as far as road games go in a given weekend. Tell us your thoughts on your team's play last week.
Yeah, I was thankful it was while we were out of school. That did help. Different time zone. There's a lot of different circumstances you have to deal with. We don't normally stay in Columbia. They've got a new hotel there, so we stayed there this time. I'm not sure it helped or hurt us. Got down 16 points in the first half.
Right.
Managed to come back at halftime a little bit, and then got down 16 points again in the second half, and just went on a whirlwind of a run to get a double-figure win, in Columbia. People just don't do that. I thought some light bulbs went off in that game. We learned a valuable lesson about being prepared and ready to play the game, and we did not get off to the start we wanted to, and we kind of uncharacteristically waited around to see how they were going to play, and that's not been our mantra. We've really been aggressive and valued that experience. It was a learning experience for us, and took that into Saturday's game, and we played well, very well.
Sure. And, of course, you come home with back-to-back wins, 7-game win streak, and the latest rankings come out. Your team jumps to number 10 in the country. Your thoughts on the ranking?
I thought it was deserving. Went up 2 spots. I thought that was a natural progression for our team. And, we've got 18 wins, the most in NAIA. I think we're playing as well as anybody. We're very balanced. There's not really a person you can pinpoint out. Darian Leslie, who you'll get a chance to visit with, did get named Player of the Week. And I wasn't so sure that we would ever have a Player of the Week just because we're so balanced.
Sure.
and it spreads out so much. But he just had an exceptional week, averaged a double-double for the weekend, and that's a good honor for him. But I think he'll be the first to tell you that the only thing that matters is our team success. We left everything else at the doorstep. So the guys have really bought into that. We're guarding well. We held 2 very, very good opponents under their averages by 10 and 15. So a lot of good things happening for the Bears.
Offensively and defensively as well. 2 wins on the road at Lindsey, at Cumberland U. You mentioned it. It came at a good time before the players were back in class. Now they are back in class. As you readjust to the schedule, you're off this Thursday, on the road Saturday. That routine, that being back in class, back on a Thursday, Saturday schedule, is that a good thing for this team to get back to a routine, knowing what's coming?
Well, realistically, and to be honest, anytime that we just concentrate on basketball 100%, we're going to obviously be better during those segments. And doing that over the break was great for us. Having this week building up to Saturday, having a whole full week of getting adjusted to our class schedule and knowing our teachers and getting assignments and travel trips, and all that's been very beneficial to us. So I hope it pays off in great dividends for us to get off to the right kind of start academically. Ended up with a 2.86 as a group this last semester, and we want to build on that. Our goal is try to shoot for that 3.0 to get our whole team over that. So this week has been beneficial for us to have that little downtime. It's also helped us to be able to prepare a little bit more for Cumberland's on the road, which is going to be a tough game for us.
We're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later. Of course, Cumberland's always a tough trip to Williamsburg and the Rollins Center. It's a tough opponent, and it's a team that makes you play your best basketball. We'll have a preview of that coming up. You mentioned we'll step into the Bears Den, and we'll meet the reigning Mid-South Conference Player of the Week, Darian Leslie. Desmond Metter also joins us. These 2 guys, what do they mean to this team?
Well, they're a huge part of our team. We're 15 strong, and they're part of that 15 strong. And both these guys give us a presence of defense that we just haven't had in years past. And we'll concentrate on their stats, and everybody looks at their rebounding, their scoring. But these guys are leaders for us. They're guys who really lay it on the line at all times, very competitive, and competing every single day in practice carries over to our attitude at the game. And these are two catalysts for that.
Very good. Coach Kelly Wells, as we're talking U Pike basketball, we'll step out, take a break. When we come back, we'll step into the Bears Den. You'll meet two of the players of this year's edition of the Bears. The Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We are live from Buffalo Wild Wings. Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. It is the Kelly Wells Show, where we talk U Pike basketball every week at this time. And now joined by a member of this Bears squad, the reigning Mid-South Conference Player of the Week, Darian Leslie, a 6'4" junior out of Huntsville, Alabama. Darian, welcome to the Kelly Wells Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And first off, congratulations. There are many times that players have gotten the Kelly Wells Show bump, and they'll go out and have a great week the week after being a guest on the show. You did it before the show, so we come in and congratulate you. You added the double-double against Lindsay and Cumberland U. You had a great week. We'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about Darian Leslie, the student athlete. Let's talk about what your major is. What do you plan to do in the future?
My major is business management right now, and my plans for the future is I want to get my degree, a business management degree, and I want to come back to school and finish culinary school. I want to do culinary school, so I want to open my own culinary business.
Very good. Very good. So Darian Leslie restaurant may be coming very soon down the road.
Well, I have a family member of mine has a restaurant open already, so I'm just trying to piggyback off of them.
All right. When you go into the restaurant business, all right, what kind of food do we have there?
Well, I want to do, where I'm from, soul food is big. So soul food is very big, so I mean, got to go where the money's at.
I got to tell you, soul food's good at my table any day.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. Darian, let's talk about your basketball background. Talk about where you come from and how you arrived at the University of Pikeville.
I'm from when I went to school, I really wasn't big on basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basketball really wasn't my number one sport. Football was my number one sport.
Football was?
Yeah. Like, I got into football first, and basketball just came along as a side, something to do. But as time went on, I started liking basketball more. So that's where I began to like it more. So I just started putting in more work in basketball. So when I went to Cleveland State, I started excelling more.
Right.
I put more effort into it because that was the only thing I was doing at the time.
Sure.
No more other sports. So and then from Cleveland State, I got me noticed here at U Pike.
Absolutely.
Been rolling ever since.
Football was your number one. What position?
I played wide receiver and safety, free safety.
Very good. And played throughout high school?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
I also did track as well.
Very good. And basketball kicked in at Cleveland State. You realized, hey, I'm not too bad at this.
Yeah.
And maybe the light bulb went off. It's certainly gone off here at the University of Pikeville. Talk about maybe an influence in your career, somebody who said the right thing that gave you the confidence to become the player that you are today. Where did that come from?
Well, it's really a combination of two people. It's my mom. My mom passed away when I was in middle school, but she was always there for me. So, I mean, I just try to do hard to work for her to show a great example for my little brothers and sisters.
Right.
And my aunt now, she keeps me rolling. Like, she the one who keeps my head on straight, make sure everything is going good with me.
Right.
She's just my backbone, basically.
You've got younger brothers and sisters?
I have two sisters and one brother.
Any players?
Yeah, my little brother's going to be a basketball player, too. I'm trying to get him into football, but he won't do it, so.
Very good. You come from Alabama, and, of course, it is a football state. They love their football in Alabama.
Yes, they do.
War Eagle or Crimson Tide?
Crimson Tide.
No doubt about it.
No doubt.
And how early does that kick in Alabama? Because we hear the rivalry that as babies, they're either War Eagle or Crimson Tide early.
It kicks in early. It depends on what household you're born into. So like our house is strictly a Crimson Tide household.
Yes.
So
do you have any friends that are Auburn fans?
I have a lot of friends that attend Auburn.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of friends that attend Alabama. So it's just a big rivalry. Like when that game comes on, Nothing else matters for that day.
Game day, throw it all out the window.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Darian Leslie, the reigning Mid-South Conference Basketball Player of the Week, averaged a double-double in wins over Lindsey Wilson and Cumberland U. Desmond, this year's team, very deep. And a lot of nights you may not have a guy go out and score 20 points, but you came very close to that in your average of 19 over last week. This balance, is this a positive for this team, having so many guys that can go out and be that guy each and every night?
It is a big positive because, every night won't be that same person's night. Every night somebody's not going to have a great game. So, like, having that balance between all those players is good because you never know who's gonna just start heating up that night. So teams really can't scout just one player when we play 12 heavy, and teams, we rotate. Really our defense is what gets it started, and we just go from there.
Tremendous defensive team, no doubt about that. Darian Leslie, our guest, thanks for being with us. Good luck this weekend against the University of Cumberland.
Sure. Thank you.
Darian Leslie, the Mid-South Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Week. We'll take a break. We'll be joined by Desmond Metter when you come back to the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings. It's home of the Kelly Wells Show. Every week at this time, we talk U-Pike basketball. The Bears currently ranked 10th in the country, 18-3, and on the road Saturday at the University of Cumberland's in Williamsburg. Of course, we'll have complete coverage on your home for Bears basketball, Z1075, and we'll be rejoined by Coach Kelly Wells talking about that matchup. But let's meet another member of this Bears roster, 6'2", junior out of Phoenix, Arizona. Desmond Metter joins us now. Welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. And, of course, we're going to talk basketball. We'll talk about your background. But first, let's talk about the student. What's your academic major? What do you plan to do in the future?
My academic major is actually communication, and in the future I plan on either doing broadcasting or doing voiceovers in movies, hopefully. Would
you like to trade seats tonight, and you can go ahead and start that broadcast?
I mean, I would. I'm a little bit nervous right now, but I definitely would want to do
that. Very good. I can certainly see that. Sports broadcasting, is that something you'd have an interest in?
Honestly, I do any type of broadcasting. I feel like I'm real comfortable in it, and I feel like my voice really stands out more. So I have no problem doing any type, whether it's news or sports.
Very good. Let's talk about your background. Originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Let's talk about your basketball background. When you began playing, talk about your high school career and how you arrived at the University of Pikeville.
My high school career, I wasn't really into basketball that much. I only played basketball because my dad's been a coach. My mom played for my dad. My brother was a top-ranked basketball player by ESPN in the country, and I just wanted to do what he did. That's the only reason why I played basketball. Sure. High school, I had a pretty good career, but I didn't end up taking my SAT or ACT, so I ended up having to go to junior college. And after that, I ended up tearing my ACL, and this is one of the few schools that actually kept in contact with me and had faith and believed in me that my recovery was good enough to where I'd be able to play for the program.
Took a chance. How long has it been that you're coming off that injury?
It's been a year now.
Yeah.
It's been a year since my injury, yeah.
Sometimes the mental aspect is the toughest part of overcoming those injuries. The physical takes care of itself.
Oh, yeah.
The mental comes a little later. Are you at 100% confidence in your knee yet?
Honestly, I'm still having my ups and downs with it, to be honest. But, my coaching staff believes in me, and I've been in the training room, so I'm trying to get to 100% still.
Very good. And, of course, not a huge basketball in high school. Did you play other sports?
I didn't play any other sports, actually, no. Just basketball. I stuck to it.
Darian Leslie claims he was a football star.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. He's a very physical player.
Yeah, it carries on to the basketball court as well. Desmond Metter, this team, coming off great wins on the road, you're playing in the Mid-South Conference for the first time, seeing some places you've never seen before, very different than Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the Mid-South Conference and your expectations going into conference games and some of the competition you've seen so far.
It's actually a great competition. There's a lot of guys who I could tell are Division I players who obviously, may have had some situations happen to where they ended up in the schools that they're at. I believe, though, out of all the teams I've seen, I still have to say our team is by far the best team. I know how much work we're putting in as a team, and I think we're just gelling real well at this time. And we're believing in our defense more, which is you see in the last game, we won by quite a huge margin. So, I mean, there's a lot of other good teams out there, too, obviously, that we have to prepare for. But I really see ourselves getting real far, and I think when we play together the way we've been playing, and as long as we keep getting better, I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat us.
When a team is as deep as this team is, you go 12 players deep a lot of nights. Does it take longer to build that team chemistry with different mixes on the floor?
You know what? I think it did, actually. I think that was a little bit of an issue. But, you know, we platooned, and eventually we bought into it, and we started, you know, figuring each other out more. And the results, you know, 18-3, speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself, indeed. And as I talked to Darian Leslie just moments ago, he talked about on any given night, it could be anyone's particular night. You don't have guys going out and scoring 25 points, but you've got such great balance. And are you guys able to accept the fact that, hey, I'm not having the best night, but he is, or you're having that night? Teammates recognize that?
Oh, definitely. I believe he's absolutely right when he says that, because there's multiple nights where different players just end up contributing on the scoring side more than others. But everything is just so balanced with our team, and we have such great basketball players that everything just flows naturally for us.
Desmond Metter, of course, out of Phoenix, Arizona. You're on the road at University of Cumberland's this week, and we want to wish you the best of luck Saturday and the rest of the season. Let's go get a national championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Desmond Metter, our guest on the Kelly Wells Show. We're talking U-Pike basketball. We'll take a break and come back and be rejoined by the coach. A preview of the University of Cumberland's matchup when the Kelly Wells Show returns. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. It's the Kelly Wells Show, where we're talking U-Pike basketball with the head coach of your Bears. Currently ranked 10th in the country. 7-game win streak and huge wins over Lindsey Wilson and Cumberland, Tennessee last weekend. Coach, you get Thursday night off this week, preparing for the University of Cumberland's in Williamsburg on Saturday. A team that is historically very good, play a very physical brand of basketball. And we always have a great battle there at the Rollins Center.
Yeah, we'll need every second of every day to prepare for them. They're really good. They're different than they have been in years past. They really shoot the ball. Like, they'll have 4 guys on the floor at any time that can shoot threes. They're making more than 10 a game. You know, they're shooting over 35, 36 threes a game, so they're really going to put it in the air. And we've got to do a great job of contesting and containing. Very talented roster, a little bit different than he's had in the past. Guys can really run and jump, and we'll have to be ready to play. So I think the prep time has been good for us, but certainly nothing prepares you if it goes in the hole every time. So we got to really play defense.
Your team's starting to find its chemistry where you've got such a deep rotation. It seems to take a little longer for a team to find the right blend of chemistry, playing with different players on the floor, different mixes on the floor. Because of that depth, does it take longer for this team to get where you wanted it to be?
Possibly, you know, and I really like all of our players. I think all of them bring something special to the table, and you know, there's times that you would think you'd have to narrow your lineup down and thin it down. That's really not been a problem for us. The guys understand, you know, you're going to compete for the time, and sometimes you, sometimes me, but always our team, and they've bought into that 100%. And there's some nights some guys are more disappointed they didn't get more minutes than others, but as far as our collective team goes, they've been great. They've responded every day in practice and game as well, and you know, they'd love to probably play 30 minutes a game, but that's not reality for our team, and they know that for the success of our team, we've got to sacrifice, and they have.
Your team ranked 10th in the country in the coaches' rankings. Your team's also ranked very high in the nation defensively. That's part of Kelly Wells' game. Defense creates offense.
It really is, and you can't get any better shots than you do from transitioning from defense to offense. And our guys this group has really bought into the fact that that's a piece that we haven't had in some time. When we had to get stops in the half court, we just didn't have the personnel in the last couple of years to do that. This group's bought into it. We're 4th scoring defense team in the country, great rebounding team. Guys have really been very unselfish. A lot of assist to turnover ratio is great for us. And, you know, they're just finding ways to win. It's hard to really put a point on what exactly we're doing well. It's just a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor, and you can just see a little different confidence in our eyes, you know, when we play. It's just different. Adding Clint helped us in some way offensively, but also just gave us a different set of goals and direction, and you can just see it in our guys' eyes.
How different is it as a coach preparing for a team like yours teams that go so deep that you can't focus on one particular or two particular matchups as shut-down type matchups, and you have to prepare for such a balanced team. That creates issues, I would imagine, as the opposing coach.
It really does, especially teams that's as thorough as ours. We're very thorough in our scouting, and it makes it very tough to go through a roster of 12 guys to go over characteristics and how to stop those folks. And Lindsey Wilson's a little bit like that. They have some go-to guys that you can really focus on, and we do as well. But there's certainly makes things much tougher because you never know which night who's going to be the guy. We've had a different player of the game almost every single night that we've played, and that's difficult in the scouting. We start different lineups all the time. We play different defenses. We're a different team from the first of the year to this part of the year. There's a lot of complications to that, and we don't want to try to be too complicated, but we want to make sure people have to work to play us.
Sure. 3 quick keys to a Bears win over Cumberland Saturday.
Well, we need to keep their percentages lower. I don't think they'll want to run. I think we've got to create tempo. I think that's very important for us, and so our pressure defense will be very key to that. And one of my biggest worries, we're going to mix our defenses up, and one of those is rebounding the basketball. We've really got to take care of the basket. If they miss, which we hope they miss a lot, we've got to go rebound it. We can't give them second shots. And at Lindsey Wilson in their last game, they had one kid that had 10 offensive rebounds by himself. So we've got to really concentrate on finishing our defense with a good block out and rebound, and then get back to our offensive end as quick as we can to be efficient.
Very good. Coach Kelly Wells, let's go get number 19 Saturday and extend that win streak to 8 games before we talk next week.
Oh, that'd be great. We're excited about it, and our team's playing well, and we're on that upslope, and we want to continue to keep rolling.
Coach Kelly Wells, head coach of your University of Pikeville Bears, in action in Williamsburg Saturday. It's a quick drive. Check out the Bears. It's a 4 p.m. tip-off in Williamsburg at the University of Cumberland. If you can't make it there, we'll have complete coverage on your home for UPike Athletics, Z1075. You've been tuned to the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.